the ultimate playbook for older men dating young women. 50 proven tips on how to attract, date, and keep her hooked without embarrassing yourself. Written and narrated by Kane Ruxtall, The Silver Bachelor. Published by Toletta Lifestyle Brands. Introduction. Why you, an older guy, can absolutely date younger women. If you're listening to this, chances are you're an older guy who's either married and considering a divorce, newly single, frustrated with dating, or simply wondering if it's even possible to date younger women. Maybe you've tried and struggled, or maybe you've been out of the game for so long you just don't know where to start. Trust me, I get it. My name is Kane Ruxtall. I created the Silver Bachelor YouTube channel to help men like you navigate dating as an older guy. But before I started, I had to go through my own journey. I was married for 20 years, no kids, but my ex-wife and I had 4 dogs and 2 budgies, those tiny little parrots that chirp all day and will not shut up. It was a busy household, to say the least. Fast forward to January 2022, and before I knew it, I was divorced and single again. The dating world has changed. Now there are websites, dating apps, texting, and social media. None of this existed when I first met my ex-wife and got married in 2003. Like many men, I felt like a fish out of water. I wasn't sure if I was too old, if younger women would be even interested, or if I had any real chance in the modern dating scene. I was insecure and I felt like an old man. But here's what I learned. Not only is dating as an older guy possible, it's even an advantage when done right. Since my divorce, I decided to only date younger women. Why? Because my ex-wife was 6 years older than me, and now I wanted to be the star. I want to be the older man and the leader. I also don't want to deal with age gap insecurities. My ex-wife was insecure about being with a younger man. I aged slower than her, and I also looked younger. The best part about dating younger women is that they automatically see you as the leader, the provider, and the protector. I've also since figured out exactly what works and what doesn't for older men dating younger and more attractive women. Why I wrote this ebook. I wrote this book because I know what it feels like to be lost in today's dating world. I know what it's like to feel out of place, insecure, desperate, and frustrated. I also know how life-changing it is when you finally understand what truly works with women. This book isn't about pickup artist tricks, gimmicks, or pretending to be someone you're not. This book is about becoming the best version of yourself and teaching you how to become the kind of man who effortlessly attracts the women that he wants. If you're ready to take control of your dating life, build real confidence, and start meeting the type of women you actually want, then let's get started. Trust me, your best dating years are ahead of you, not behind you. This book is the step-by-step guide I wish I had read when I first became single again and re-entered the dating world back in 2022. Whether you're recently divorced, widowed, or just ready to upgrade your dating life, I'm here to show you that your best years are not behind you. They're just getting started. Let's break down a few myths and show you how to date younger women with confidence. Number 1, myth busting. No, you don't need a 6-pack of abs. One of the biggest lies society tells men is that women only want guys with chiseled abs, model looks, and youthful energy. But here's the truth. While fitness is always a plus, it's far from the most important factor when it comes to attracting younger women. What truly attracts women, especially those looking for more than just a fling, is confidence, social status, charisma, leadership, and emotional intelligence. Younger men may have youth and looks on their side, but they often lack maturity, stability, and purpose. That's where you, an experienced, self-assured, salt-and-peppered older man, have the edge. Number 2, the advantage older men have over younger guys. Let's be honest here for a minute. Dating as a younger man can be a mess. Most younger guys are insecure, broke, and lack life experience. They play games, chase women with no real plan, and make the same rookie mistakes over and over again. As an older guy, you have something they don't, and that's wisdom, life experience, and the ability to lead. Younger women often find men their age immature, unreliable, and emotionally unstable. What they really want is a man who knows who he is, takes charge, and isn't afraid to be direct. When you know how to present yourself as a high-value man, you'll naturally stand out from the boys. Women crave a man who brings stability, confidence, and excitement, not a guy who's still figuring himself out. Number 3, the biggest mistakes older guys make and how to avoid them. While older men can have massive dating success, many sabotage themselves by making critical mistakes. Here are some of the biggest pitfalls. Number 1, trying too hard to be young. You don't need to wear ripped skinny jeans, use Gen Z slang, or pretend to like TikTok trends. Instead of trying to be young, own your age and make it a strength. Number 2, being insecure about your age. If you constantly bring up your age as a negative, for example, by saying, "Am I too old for you?" Or, "I'm 51, but I feel 35. You're already losing. Women will follow your lead. So if you act like your age is a disadvantage, they'll believe it is. If you act like it's an asset, they'll be attracted to that confidence. Number 3, chasing instead of attracting. Desperate energy kills attraction. The key is to position yourself as the prize, the kind of man women naturally will gravitate towards. Chapter 1, Mindset. Stop thinking like an old man. Tip 1, confidence is king. If you act old, you are old. Listen, my friend, confidence isn't just an attractive trait. It's the glue that holds the whole damn dating game together. Have you ever seen a bald guy with a dad bod pulling a 10? It's not because of his money. It's because he walks like he's the CEO of life itself. Colt Johnson from 90 Day Fiancé. If you haven't heard of this guy, you have to check out some episodes of 90 Day Fiancé and Colt Johnson. Well, this guy was pulling 7s and 8s, despite the fact that he was fat, broke, and living with his mom. Sure, the girls wanted a green card, but this guy was still pulling these women. And there are countless examples of average-looking dudes who have dad bods pulling younger, attractive women. And a few more examples if you haven't heard of Todd V, YouTuber, or Redbeard Rants, YouTuber. Both these guys, at best, are average-looking, and they have average bodies, but they're pulling consistently 7s, 8s, and 9s, and even 10s. It's all about your confidence. Now, let's be real. You've lived a good chunk of your life, and you've probably got some scars and maybe even some trauma, physically, emotionally, and even financially. Maybe you've been divorced, ghosted, or lost more hair than you can care to admit. Look at me. I don't have any hair anymore. So what? Confidence isn't about perfection, and it's not about your hair. It's about your presence. Here's the deal. If you act old, women will see you as old. If you groan every time you stand up, sigh like the weight of the world is crushing you, or constantly talk about how much better things were back in the day, then congratulations, you've just transformed into her dad. Confidence isn't about pretending to be young. It's about owning your age like a boss. You've got life experience, stories, and wisdom that no 25-year-old with abs and an energy drink addiction can compete with. You've been through life's ups and downs, and that makes you powerful. So stand up straight, walk into a room like you belong there, and for the love of everything holy, stop apologizing for your age. Women love a man who owns who he is, not one who's constantly making excuses for it. Tip 2, ditch the she's out of my league mindset. Oh, so she's too hot for you? Too young? Too perfect? Boo-hoo. Like, really, guys? Let me play that violin a little louder so your neighbors can hear it. Come on, man. You sound like a teenager with a crush on his high school English teacher. Really, come on. Here's a little secret about attraction that most men never figure out. Women are not out of your league ever. The whole league nonsense was invented by insecure men who think dating is a points-based system. But guess what? Women don't sit around rating men like a fantasy football draft. Women care about how you make them feel, not about your wrinkles or your bald head like mine, or whether you can still bench press 315 pounds. If you think she's out of your league, you'll start acting like she is. You'll put her on a pedestal, you'll be nervous, and you'll start second-guessing yourself. Plus, you'll be trying too hard. And when you try too hard, women will smell that desperation from a mile away and they will run for the hills. Instead, flip the script. Assume she's lucky to have your attention. You have the experience, confidence, and life she can learn from. You've done some cool shit, and you don't have to impress her. She needs to impress you. The minute you stop thinking that women are out of your league, you'll notice something crazy. Suddenly, they're not. Tip 3. Stop seeking validation. You're the prize. Have you ever texted a woman and then sat there, refreshing your phone like a stockbroker on Wall Street? Yeah, stop that nonsense. Nothing screams low value and desperation like a man who's constantly looking for reassurance. If you're texting her every hour, double-checking to see if she likes you, or worse, asking for permission to be attractive, she's already mentally categorized you as the nice guy, and she'll never sleep with you. Women don't want a man who needs their approval. They want a man who knows his worth. The second you start seeking validation, you lose all intrigue and mystery that makes attraction fun. So here's what you need to do. 1. Stop over-texting. 2. Stop double-texting. 3. Stop saying good morning, good night. 4. Stop asking if she likes you. And 5. Stop being too available. Let her wonder where you are. Make her work for your attention. You are the prize, so act like it. Tip 4. Why acting your age is terrible advice. Act your age, they say. Be mature, they say. Do you know what that actually sounds like? It's a one-way ticket to a rocking chair and an early bedtime. Here's the truth. Acting your age is only good advice if you're trying to qualify for a senior discount at Waffle House. Women don't want a guy who acts old. They want a guy who's alive. Does this mean dressing like a teenager and saying things like Riz in a desperate attempt to stay relevant? Hell no. It means staying curious, playful, and passionate about life. It means having energy, not in the chugging energy drinks and staying up until 4 a.m. energy way, but in the I still have shit I'm excited about way. Men who act their age tend to do these 5 things. 1, they dress like her grandpa. 2, they complain about kids these days. 3, they talk about retirement more than her interests. 4, they religiously go to bed at 9 p.m. and yes, even on the weekends. 5, most importantly, they stop learning, growing, or trying new things. Do the opposite. Stay engaged, keep evolving, be flexible, and never stop being interesting. Tip 5, the power of being seasoned, not senior. You're not old, you're seasoned. And salt and pepper is sexy. I'm talking about your beard and your hair. Women notice that and they love salt and pepper hair. Think about it. What do younger women get from younger men? Well, they get immaturity, financial instability, and a guy who doesn't like to take the lead or know how to book a proper dinner reservation. You are a gentleman. You're established, you're experienced, and you know how to handle yourself. That's attractive as fuck. You're not some clueless 20-something-year-old sending you up kind of texts at 2 a.m. You know how to lead. You have life experience, and that makes you interesting. You have control over your emotions, and you're not throwing tantrums just because she took too long to text you back. The trick is to own it. If you start making excuses for your age, women will see it as a flaw. If you carry yourself with confidence, it becomes your biggest advantage. Women don't want an old man. They want a wise, charismatic, and confident man who knows how to have fun. Take it from me. I've gone out with hundreds of women who are 20, even 30 years younger. And guess what? They'd never had a problem with the age gap. So stop thinking you're too old for younger women. You're exactly what they need. They just don't know it yet. Your job is to show them. Chapter 2, The Attraction Formula, How to Get Younger Women Interested. Tip 6, dress sharp, not like her grandpa. Let's be real. Fashion trends have most likely changed since the last time you were single. If your idea of dressing up still involves a blazer with sleeves that come right down to your thumb knuckles, or baggy pleated khakis, a polo shirt tucked way inside your pants, or ugly, boring-looking sneakers, then congratulations. You've successfully dressed like her grandpa. And grandpa isn't getting any dates. Listen here. Clothes matter no matter what you think. They communicate who you are before you even open your mouth. The good news? You don't have to dress like some Gen Z TikTok star with ripped jeans and Prada sunglasses. You just need to look like a well-put-together gentleman who still has some swagger left in him. Here's your style checklist. 1. Get well-fitted shirts and blazers. Instant upgrade. You go from some guy to a distinguished gentleman. For example, make sure your shirts are well-fitted, and most men can easily drop a size. Your blazer sleeves, I know I mentioned this earlier, but they should not be at your knuckles. They should actually be high enough to show at least a half an inch of your shirt cuff. 2. Tailored pants. Loose, baggy pants scream, "I gave up in 2006. I personally like to wear slim fit pants, including my suit pants and jeans. Why? Because this is a very Euro look, and women love Euro looking men. 3. Shoes matter. No dad sneakers and no square-toed dress shoes. Go for sleek, stylish, or classic sneakers. And if you want to check out some nice shoes, go to Kurt Geiger. 4. No t-shirts without a jacket, unless you have the body for it. However, a t-shirt under a leather jacket is super badass. Bottom line, dress like a man who takes care of himself. You don't have to be a fashion model, but if you look like you just walked out of a 1990s Sears catalog, it's time for an upgrade. Tip 7. Grooming. Pluck, trim, and for God's sake, whiten those teeth. Listen, you don't have to look like a model, but you do need to be well groomed. If your nose and ear hairs are so long that they're waving in the wind, fix that. If your eyebrows have merged into one giant caterpillar, fix that. If your beard is patchier than a 1990s dial-up connection, fix that. If your fingernails are long, fix that. If your teeth are yellow, fix that. Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? All right, here's your grooming checklist. Eyebrows. 2 is the goal, not 1, not 3. Nose and ear hair. She should never see a stray hair waving at her. Teeth. Yellow teeth are a deal breaker. Get some whitening strips, whitening toothpaste, whitening mouthwash, and act like you care. Cologne. Oof. I could go on and on about cologne, but I will say this. I'm originally from Canada, and I moved to Atlanta 2 years ago at the time of this recording. And in Canada, they have a no sense makes sense law. Right. It's law in the workplace that you cannot wear perfumes. Now I'm in Atlanta, and like everyone and their neighbors and everything, everyone's wearing cologne and perfume. It's kind of a little much sometimes. So my recommendation to you is 1 spray on each side of your neck, and don't take a bath in it. You want to smell good, but not like a department store just exploded on you. Fingernails. If your hands look like you've been mining coal, clean them up. And look, I've even seen guitar players with long fingernails and especially the thumbnail. I understand the practical use for it, but long fingernails make you look feminine. It's kind of gross and you need to cut those. Eye drops. Use eye drops before you leave the house. There's nothing more unattractive than seeing a man with bloodshot eyes because he had a late night, couldn't sleep, etc. Eye drops will instantly make you look fresh. Women notice grooming. They might not tell you, but trust me, they're clocking every single detail about you. Tip 8. Fitness matters, but you don't need a six-pack. Just avoid a keg. Let's get one thing straight. You don't need to look like an action movie star, all right? You just need to look like you give a damn about your health. If your idea of a workout is grunting while getting off the couch, we have a problem. If you think dad bod means I can eat whatever I want and never move, we have a problem. What women want is a man who looks like he still can move without sound effects. And like I said before, you don't need a six-pack, but you also don't want to have a beer belly so big that it enters the room 5 seconds before you do. Here are 3 easy fixes. Number 1, less carbs, less calories, less sugar. The fastest way to lose weight is with a caloric deficit. Basically, you eat less than 2,500 calories per day. Why 2,500 calories per day? Because typically that's the average amount of calorie a man needs in order to maintain his body weight. Did you know that most action stars restrict their calories at least 6 months before they shoot their movies? The magic number is eating less than 2,500 calories. You can eat fewer calories and without even counting by just simply cutting out sugars, dairy, and starchy carbs like pasta, rice, and potatoes. A caloric deficit is simple, effective, and it keeps you from looking like the Michelin Man. Number 2, get to the gym. I've mentioned this many times in my videos, and I'm going to mention it again here. You don't have to bench press a truck. You just have to lift something heavier than your TV remote. Do weights over cardio. Why? Because muscle burns fat, cardio burns calories. 3, eat like an adult. Lay off the fast food and the sodas, and especially late at night. Your metabolism is not what it used to be. Listen, as I mentioned earlier, she's not expecting a Greek god or a model. She just wants a guy who won't wheeze after 2 flights of stairs. Tip 9, your secret weapon? Ooh, emotional intelligence. Do you ever wonder why some guys who aren't rich, jacked, or even that good looking still attract younger women? It's simple. They know how to make her feel something. Younger guys, they're often emotionally clueless. They don't listen, they don't understand women's feelings, and they often react instead of responding. And for us older men, we've been through a lot of shit. We know when to listen, we know when to joke, and we don't freak out over small things. Now that's attractive. Here's what emotional intelligence means in dating. 1, you listen more than you talk. Women love a man who genuinely listens. And I have a quick story for you. I remember one time asking a female friend of mine about a date that she had recently, and she said she's not going to go on a second date with this guy because for the first 30 minutes he did nothing but talk and he just wouldn't shut up. She eventually interrupted him, and that made him stop talking. Point here is that it didn't go to a second date, and you guys have this habit because you want to impress her and you're talking and talking and talking. So listen more than you talk. 2, stay calm. Drama, that's not your style. You can handle situations like a pro, and you don't need to get upset or be triggered with something that she says. 3, don't freak out over rejection. If she says no to a date, cool, next. It's the same thing with cold approach. You walk up to a woman, you shoot your shot, she turns you down. Who cares? Is it really that scary? So don't freak out over rejection. 4, you know how to tease without being a jerk. You can be playful, but not mean. And if you ever seen Russell Brand, right? Comedian, you just go to YouTube, watch some clips of this guy. He's the master at teasing. I've never seen anyone better than this guy. British guy. Women always laugh, and he always pushes the envelope a little bit with them. But just go check out Russell Brand on YouTube, and you'll have an idea of what I mean about teasing without being a jerk. The bottom line here is most guys can't handle their emotions. But if you can, then that's your unfair advantage. Tip 10. How to make her laugh without sounding like a boomer meme. There's nothing more attractive than a man who can make a woman laugh. But here's the deal. Your humor needs to be on point. This is how to be genuinely funny. First up, dad jokes. Yes, women love dad jokes. For example, try saying any of the example dad jokes that I'm going to give you here while you're on a date, and trust me, she will be rolling around laughing. All right, here we go. First one. So, I was going to tell you a time travel joke, but you didn't like it. I'm laughing at this one at myself. Okay, next. Do you know what you can do when it's cold in your house? You can stand in the corner because it's always 90 degrees. Right? She'll like that one too. All right, third one. Here's the thing. I went to college and I didn't mind algebra. Even calculus was okay. But geometry? That's where I draw the line. Draw the line? So, okay, they're cheesy, they're corny, dad jokes, but you'd be surprised at how many women love dad jokes. I wouldn't necessarily suggest a dad joke as a pickup line, but when you're on a date, that's where you want to make her laugh and use dad jokes. 2, sarcasm and teasing. As I mentioned before with Russell Brand, you can use light, playful teasing to show your confidence. If she spills her drink, you don't panic. You just smirk and say something like, "Are you always a spilly talker?" 3, self-depreciation in moderation. Show that you don't take yourself too seriously. Example, yeah, I know I can be a bit naive. One time on a date, she had a gun in her purse, and I asked her if it was loaded. Things like that you can say. 4, observational humor. Notice the small things and make them funny, like, you just spent 20 minutes picking your drink, but I bet you still don't know what you want to eat. See what I mean, guys? You can use humor in many ways to make her laugh and to show your confidence. However, you need to avoid these humor pitfalls. And I'm going to specifically go through 4. 1, boomer memes. You don't want to say things like, "Oh, kids these days, they don't know real music." That's not charming and it's annoying. 2, trying too hard. Don't force your jokes, just be natural. 3, offensive jokes. You're dating younger women, not auditioning for a comedy roast. And 4, this is a big one, politics. Never bring up politics unless you're both on the same political spectrum. These are dangerous waters, guys, and I've made many mistakes with this one. So even then, when you talk about politics, women find politics boring. So avoid politics. At the end of the day, women love a man who can make them laugh effortlessly. It's not about being a stand-up comedian. It's about having fun and relaxed energy that makes her enjoy being around you. Chapter 3. Where to meet younger women without looking creepy. Tip 11. Why dating apps are a trap and how to beat them. Oh, dating apps. This is another topic I can go on and on and on to talk about. This is where some women get 1,000 matches in 24 hours and you get 15 bot messages, or matched with a 50-year-old Carol who is recently divorced and has 5 children, or there's Carla who is 27 but she's down for NSA. And if you don't know what NSA is, no strings attached, aka sugar baby. Or there's 35-year-old Jennifer who is poly, non-binary, and demisexual. Before I go on and on about this, I have a quick story for you. One time I was sitting at a restaurant bar, having a conversation with the bartender We were talking about dating and dating apps. Average looking woman, 32, was sitting beside me, who chimes into the conversation. And I ask her, I say, "Are you on any dating apps?" And she says, "Yes, I'm on Bumble." And I said, "Okay, cool. How's it going for you?" And she says, "Well, I find it overwhelming." So then I ask her, "Well, why do you find it overwhelming?" And she says, "Well, I've been on the app for 90 days, 3 months, and I've had 5,800 likes. 5,800 likes in 3 months? That's an average of 60 per day." So I'm just beside myself at this point, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, all right, sure. She's a younger woman, but she's not like a 10. She's average looking. And this is an example, guys, of what women go through on dating apps. This was Bumble, not Tinder or Hinge, but specifically on Bumble, average looking woman, 32. That's the kind of volume these women get on a daily basis. So if you've tried dating apps and you felt like a peasant throwing love notes at a queen who never responds, you're not alone. Here's the reality. Dating apps are mostly a scam, and they're built to make you fail. They want you to stay frustrated, so you keep swiping and swiping and swiping. And it's even worse if you're desperate enough to pay for the premium membership, right? And sometimes those premium memberships can be $50, $100, $200 plus per month. Here are the 3 biggest dating app traps. 1, endless swiping with no matches. You probably don't realize this, but every single dating app has an algorithm. And that algorithm will punish inactivity, but they also love keeping you on the hamster wheel. Number 2, women drowning in options. I mentioned this earlier about the woman at the restaurant bar. Well, women get bombarded with messages from all kinds of men. And some of those men are named Chad who look like Greek gods. And did you know the average woman on Bumble is only going for the top 15, 20% of men? So your messages are most likely just falling on deaf ears and nobody's looking at them. Number 3, your profile might be working against you. If your bio says things like, "I love long walks on the beach and deep conversations," well, congratulations. You sound like every other dude. So how do you beat the system? Well, I'm going to give you 3 tips right now. 1, use great photos. I'm talking about no selfies in your car, no baseball caps. I can go on about baseball caps. Actually, it's a quick story. One time I was at a restaurant with a female friend of mine, and she was complaining about baseball caps. And I said, okay, well, I'm looking around the room, and there wasn't very many people in the restaurant. There was maybe 30 people at this time, and at least 10 of the guys out of the 30 guys all had baseball caps. Your photos also should not have pictures of you wearing sunglasses, and most importantly, no bathroom mirror pics. Like, come on, guys, you could do so much better than that. All right, so here it is. The type of photos you should have in your profile are these. 1, a professional shot with you in a suit. And you might be thinking, Silver Bachelor, come on, a suit? Yes, women love men in a suit. So have a picture of yourself in a suit. 2, have a fun lifestyle photo of yourself. Maybe you're at a barbecue doing something, you're on the beach playing volleyball, something like that. Number 3, a dog pic. You're probably thinking, Silver Bachelor, man, I don't even own a dog. Women love dogs. So get a dog from one of your friends or something, but you have to have an animal pic in your dating profile photos. Another photo you need to have is a social photo with friends, because they want to know that you've got friends, right? It seems pretty basic, but that is a fact. And last, a photo of you doing something cool or dangerous. Maybe you skydive, maybe you scuba dive, whatever it is. Maybe you play the guitar. So have a photo of that. 2, short, confident bios. I see a lot of guys with these long novel bios and sob stories, whatever, but this is really all you need to say. Something like this: entrepreneur, wine lover, can cook. Swipe right if you like fun experiences. See? Simple, to the point, couple things there. By the way, every woman loves a man who can cook, So make sure you got that one in your bio. Number 3, stop texting like a boring dad. All right, I could do a whole ebook on this, but here it is. This is a dating app specific situation where you've just matched with someone, right? Do not have your opening line by saying things like, "Hi, beautiful." Don't say that. Don't say things like, "Hey," right? Don't say WYDRN. What are you doing right now? You also don't want to say, "How was your day?" Instead, you want to send them a fun, teasing message that sparks a reaction. For example, and I've used this many, many times when I'm on dating apps, and that is this: "Hi, you seem interesting." That's it. There's a guy, quick story. There's a guy that was being interviewed by another YouTuber. I can't recall the YouTuber. And the guy's a young guy, tall, jacked, Chad, right? And this is what he says when he matches. Or his opening message to someone, he'll just put, HMMMMM. That's it. It works for him. You know, he is a Chad, so I wouldn't suggest using that one, but that's just another example of something you can do. Look, I've had the most success with that simple phrase that I mentioned, "Hi, you seem interesting." So I suggest you try that as well. Or another example is, let's say she's got some tattoos, right? This is a little on the risky side, but I've also gone and sent this message. "Cool tattoos. How many are shitty ones?" Okay, that's a little risky. Some women might get offended by it. I suggest only saying something like that when you're actually on a date, but not in a dating app situation, but it is something else you could try. At the end of the day, dating apps are not impossible for older men, but you need to stand out because you're competing with a lot of men. And by the way, every single dating app that's out there, the average percentage of men versus women, it's 70% dudes on these apps and only 30% of women at best. And I'm talking Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, they're all the same. It's 70% dudes. And those women are typically only going for the top 15, 20% of the guys. So you need to keep that in mind. Tip 12, the best places to meet younger women organically. If you're waiting for a hot 25-year-old to randomly sit beside you at Starbucks or a restaurant bar and start flirting with you, well, I have some bad news. That's not how life works, and it's most likely not going to happen. Younger women are not hanging out to meet guys at your golf club either. If you want to meet them organically, you need to go where they are without looking like a lost dad shopping for his kids at Walmart. Here are some of the best places you can meet younger women. Grocery stores. Ooh, one of my favorites. I've met a lot of women at grocery stores, especially the higher end grocery stores like Whole Foods or Publix. Basically what I do is I see a woman who looks cute, she's in the aisle, and I'll walk up to her and ask her for some help on something that I'm looking for. Just some random thing like, "Hey, I'm looking for a potato scraper," or something like that. Do you know what aisle that might be in? And then she'll respond. And then I'll say something like, "Well, you know what? You seem interesting. Are you single?" Boom. It's as simple as that. This is what I've learned, guys. I've learned at the end of the day, your pickup line doesn't matter. If she's genuinely attracted to you, she is going to respond in kind. And believe me, if she's attracted to you, she's going to say yes, and she's not going to mind that quick, short approach. So I like to keep it straight to the point. And also, this is very important, no compliments, not yet. So if she says yes, then I say, "Great, well, we should hang out sometime." And then I ask if she'd like to exchange Instagram accounts because women prefer that usually over the phone. But here's the thing. If she says I have a boyfriend, then I usually just bounce. Fitness and dance classes. This is also a great place. And the thing is, you're there to have fun, learn some new moves, and get in shape. But you're there and you're thinking to yourself, look at all the hot, fit, and sweaty women that are in this place, right? And when I say fitness and dance classes, specifically, I'm talking like yoga, I'm talking salsa lessons, anything like that, you're going to meet a lot of women. So here's what you do. First, you're in one of these fitness or dance classes, do not stare at her or any woman that you find attractive. Just ignore them. Second, go near them where she's exercising or she's doing whatever her thing is. So in this particular example, let's talk about the gym, right? The gym, a lot of guys ask me on my channel, hey, Silver Bachelor, how do I meet a woman at the gym? Well, this is a great part that I'm going to talk about. So you don't stare at her, you ignore her. Second, you go near where she's exercising. Third, when the timing is right, you go up and ask her something like, hey, I thought to come over because I'm looking for a personal trainer. Do you ever give lifting advice to older guys? Usually with that approach, she's going to have a smile on her face. Talking about smiles, the larger the smile, the more attracted she is to you. It's an instinctual thing that her smile will be huge if she finds you attractive. And I can usually gauge a woman's attractiveness to me based on that size of the smile. And so what I like about this line where you ask her, do you ever give lifting advice to older guys, right? Is you're self-depreciating yourself, but in a playful way. So if she blows you off, then you just simply move along. You say, okay, great, have a great day, kind of thing. But regardless of her reply, you can say something like, well, hey, you seem interesting, so I thought to introduce myself. And then kind of back to my grocery store example, are you single? And that's it, guys. It's as simple as that. You want to get straight to the point and find out if they're single. Because the worst thing is they've got a boyfriend and they've given you her number, or you exchange Instagram and you're now having conversations and then she drops a bomb on you. So rather to find that out early. Next up, upscale lounges and cocktail bars. I do suggest avoiding dive bars. Most women, has been my experience, prefer the classier spots. Not to say dive bars aren't classy, but you know what I mean, guys. Especially places that have happy hour. Happy hour is typically 50% off the regular prices on the menu and the drinks, and it's usually Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. You would not believe how many women go out for happy hour at these places. Art galleries and cultural events. Ooh, nothing says cultured older man like discussing art while sipping a glass of bubbly. Travel and adventure activities. I'm talking about group trips, hiking clubs, and wherever the fun is, women will follow. Last, social and networking events. The smart, ambitious younger women specifically, they love successful older men. So if you show up looking smart and you're attending these social and networking events, you're most likely going to meet a lot of great-looking women. Here are the 3 things you absolutely should not do. First, hang around college campuses. Yes, there's a lot of attractive young women, but you're not a professor and you're certainly not a student anymore. 2, creeping at the gym. If she has headphones on, just leave her alone. But remember this one thing. It's not harassment if she thinks you're hot. One girl I dated, fit, young, attractive, goes to the gym all the time. And I asked her, I said, look, if a guy comes up to you at the gym, would you think that's harassment? And she said, it's not harassment if he's hot. Now, being hot is subjective, but you might as well just go for it because you have no idea what she's thinking in her mind. 3, being the weird old guy at the nightclub. I could go on and on about nightclub vibes and things to do and not do. But in general, if the average age at the place is 22, you need to turn around and leave. So go to places where younger women are. If you look like you've wandered in by mistake, then you're doing it all wrong. Tip 13, avoiding sugar baby land, dating versus transactional relationships. You want a date, not an invoice. But in today's world, the line between dating and pay for play is blurrier than ever. A lot of men fall into the sugar baby trap without even realizing it. One minute, you're going out with a gorgeous 28-year-old, and after a few dates in, she subtly asks you for some help with her rent. Let's be real. At the end of the day, the number one reason why younger women are drawn to older men is because of their financial stability. Younger women will expect you to help them out from time to time. You're probably asking, Silver Bachelor, why is that? Well, because it's expensive for women to look good. And she's going to love it if you help cover little things, even Ubers, nails, hair, lashes, etc. So if you want to date a younger woman and she looks good, then you better be prepared to help them out financially. If not, there will be another guy lined up willing to do that for her. And guess which guy she's going to gravitate towards the most. Here's some examples of the costs that women have to pay each month to look good. And this doesn't even include Ubers, clothes, shoes, or fragrances. So the first example is hair. There's lots of different styling prices based on what the woman wants to do, such as haircuts, coloring, and styling. But for example, just a basic haircut is $50 to $100. Coloring is anywhere from $70 to $200. Styling, $40 to $85, and that's typically each month. Manicures and pedicures. The average cost for a manicure is between $15 and $45. Pedicures, $25 to $40. And pedicures and manicures also need to be done each month. Eyelashes. I mean, I had no idea how many different types of eyelashes women can get, from classic lashes, natural volume lashes, full volume lashes, on and on. But classic lashes, just I guess the regular ones, are about $300. And you have to do touch-ups around $85 every 2 weeks just for the classic lashes. The natural volume lashes, as an example, the full set is $365 typically. And a touch-up every 2 weeks is about $110. Full volume lashes, around $400. And a touch-up every 2 weeks is $130. So these are just some examples, guys, of the costs and things that women have to spend on themselves to look good. And the younger they are, the more of these costs they typically spend on themselves. And so if you can come in and help them with these things, that's one of the ways to attract a younger woman and the things that she's going to find and appreciate. Look, it's okay to help women out financially, just as long as the financial benefits are not expected and it doesn't seem transactional. Here are 4 signs you're entering sugar baby land. 1, she only texts when she needs something. 2, every date involves gifts. 3, she has no job but suspiciously has a high-end lifestyle. This one I find the most interesting because most of these young women have an Instagram account. And you go to their Instagram account and what do you see? A lot of times you see them traveling the world, having all these expensive bags and everything else. And yet you know darn well she's either out of work or she's a bartender. Like, seriously? How are you affording this lifestyle? Well, guess who's paying for all that, right? 4, she talks about spoiling and princess treatment on her dating app profile. Ooh, if you see I want to be spoiled or anything around princess treatment on her dating app profile, you need to bounce. Otherwise, you're walking into sugar baby land. So if you're looking for genuine dating, avoid women who see dating as a financial transaction. A younger woman should like you for your personality, energy, and status, not your wallet. Tip 14, social circles. Why being a high-value man brings women to you. Here's the truth. Women want a man who is desired by other women. If you make good money, are socially connected, charismatic, and in demand, younger women will naturally gravitate towards you. Instead of chasing women like a desperate salesman, build your social status and women will come to you. Here are 5 tips on how to build social status. 1, host events, dinners, parties, game nights, whatever it is. Be the guy who brings people together for the food, drink, and music. 2, level up Instagram. Almost every woman is on Instagram. The more followers you have, the more perceived social status you will have. For example, on my personal Instagram, at the time of recording this audiobook, I have over 40,000 followers. And when I exchange my Instagram with a woman and she sees 40,000 and she probably does not have that, She thinks, wow, this guy must be popular. 3, create content. You can write a book, you can create a YouTube channel, whatever it is. Women love men who are artistic and have a following. 4, join high status circles. There's a lot of exclusive clubs, mastermind groups, networking events, etc., and you can surround yourself with winners. 5, be seen with other women. Nothing makes you more attractive than already being attractive to other women and being seen with other women. So build up a network of female friends. Why? Because women make excellent wing women. And it's always easier to meet women when you're already with women. So if you create a fun, high-value lifestyle, younger women will want to be part of your world. Tip 15. The biggest red flags to watch for in younger women. Just because she's young and hot doesn't mean she's girlfriend material. Some young women come with major red flags, and you need to know how to spot them before you get in too deep. Here are the red flags to watch out for. Princess treatment. I've seen this so many times, especially on dating app profiles. If she thinks every man should worship her just for existing, swipe left. Party girls. If she's at the club 5 nights a week, or, this might sound a little controversial, but if she works as a bartender on the weekends, your competition is going to be fierce, and good luck getting any time with her. Always broke. If she's always between jobs and hinting at her financial struggles, well, guess who's expected to fix that and pay for that? It's you. Drama queens. If her life is a soap opera of ex-boyfriend issues, emotional chaos, family problems, you don't need that stress. 0 interest in your life. If she never asks about you, if she always responds to your text with like 1-word answers, good, great, okay, she doesn't care about you. Only thing she wants are the financial perks. Here are 3 ways to spot a keeper instead. She's genuinely interested in you beyond your wallet. She has her own life, career, and ambitions. And she adds value to your life, emotionally, intellectually, and socially. A younger woman, at the end of the day, should enhance your life, not drain it. So choose wisely. Chapter 4. The First Date Playbook. Setting the tone like a pro. Tip 16. How to plan the date that impresses without overcompensating. Look, you don't need to spend $300 on dinners, rent a yacht, buy her flowers, book a private jet, or anything like that to impress younger women. You're dating her. You're not trying to recruit her for a heist movie or something like this. The key to a great first date? It's confidence, fun, and a little bit of mystery. But here's what not to do. First, overcompensate with money. There are so many men that lead with money, and if you take her to a 5-star steakhouse and she orders the lobster and wagyu combo, well then congrats. You've just took yourself into sugar daddy land. Second, making it complicated. You don't need helicopter rides or candle dinners on a beach. Just keep it simple and be chill. Third, taking her somewhere boring. Coffee dates? I don't understand why so many men, as the first date, they ask her if she'd like to go out for coffee. Well, that's boring. A movie date? Oh, great. Now there's 0 conversation. All right. Those are just examples for you of places to avoid for the first date. If you want to try something interesting, you can ask her if she'd like to go for ice cream. Here are some winning first date ideas that set the tone right. Ice cream. I mentioned earlier about ice cream. Women love ice cream. Add a walk in the park to that, or around an art district. Oof, you've just differentiated yourself from 90% of men. Breakfast or lunch. The fastest way to a woman's heart is actually food. So if you invite her to breakfast or lunch on the weekend, not only will you avoid last-minute date cancellations, because weekend nights are typically reserved for Chad, but you get to fill her tummy with something delicious. A speakeasy or upscale bar. Ooh, the dark, vibey lighting with the craft cocktails. That's an instant mood booster. A cool activity date. When I say cool, what about like axe throwing, escape rooms, wine tastings, things like that? Think of dates that can create experiences and will make it memorable. And last, rooftop lounges. Who doesn't love a good city view? Bonus is she'll probably want to take a selfie and now you're part of her social media story. The goal for the first date is for it to be fun and have an effortless vibe that ultimately makes her think, damn, this guy is different. Tip 17, why you should never talk about your ex or hers. Imagine this. You're having a great first date. The drinks are flowing, she's laughing, and then boom, you mention your wife or ex-wife. Well, guess what? Game over. Talking about exes on the first date is like farting in an elevator. It instantly kills the mood and makes everyone uncomfortable. So here is why bringing up your ex is a terrible idea. First, it makes you look bitter. If you go on a rant about how she took the house and the dog, you sound damaged. Second, it shows you're not over it. Even if you say, oh, we're cool now, she's thinking, why the hell is he still talking about her? Third, she doesn't care. A younger woman isn't meeting you on a date to be your therapist. She's there for fun and excitement. Okay, so what if she brings up her ex? This is what you do. First, change the subject. You could say something like, oh man, that sounds wild. So last weekend, what did you end up doing for fun? It's a bit of a quick change of subject, but it can work. Second, playfully tease her. You can say something like, so what you're saying is you have great taste now? Third, flip it into attraction. You can say something like, well, that guy was a fool, right? Obviously, assuming that you're the better catch. Look, your past relationships are ancient history, so keep them there. Tip 18, the right way to pay for the date without looking desperate. Okay, so the bill arrives, and she slowly reaches into her purse, and you're thinking, oh, maybe she wants to go 50-50? And you start to panic. Do you let her pay? Do you throw your credit card down like a hero? What do you do? It's okay. You can relax because these are the winning moves when this happens. First, you always pay. Second, never, ever go 50-50 unless she insists. Pay the bill, but you do it smooth and with confidence. Talking about bills, how you actually pay for the bill, you do it like this. First, just grab the check and handle it. No hesitation, no awkward, should we split the 50-50, go Dutch? None of that. Just grab the bill, handle it. Second, say something smooth like, I got this. You can grab the nightcap. Or you can grab dessert next time. Now you've planted the idea of a second date, or best case, the nightcap at your place. Third, don't flex. There's no need to say something like, oh, let me throw down my black Amex on the table, right? Or I'm rich and it's not a big deal. Like, avoid that. Here are 3 things you should never do when it comes to the bill. Like I said earlier, letting her pay. Do not let her pay. She might offer, but if she offers and you just immediately accept it, she'll most likely lose respect for you. 2, don't make a big deal out of it. Just take the bill and pay. 3, don't act like she owes you something. You paid for the dinner, cool. It's not like a lifetime commitment or something. Having the right mindset is key in this situation. You're a gentleman who takes care of things, period. Tip 19, conversation hacks that make her lean in. Do you want to create chemistry instantly? Then forget about boring small talk. Great conversations equal instant attraction. Here are some of the things that most men do wrong when it comes to conversations. First, interview mode. They ask questions like, "So, what do you do?" Or, "Where are you from? What are your hobbies?" Boring. You only need to ask about FFW: family, fun, and work. You stay around those three topics and you'll never run out of things to say. Second, talking about yourself too much. I mentioned this earlier about one of my friends who was on this date and the guy wouldn't shut up. He was nonstop for the first 30 minutes. She interrupted him in order to get a word in, but they never went on a second date. Most men fall into this trap because they feel like they need to impress her. Just shut up. Just be quiet. Ask her the questions. And you're not running for president. The fastest way to lose her interest and desire for you is when you keep talking. And last, being too agreeable. If you always nod and say things like, "I agree," to everything that she's saying, you become forgettable. It's okay to disagree once in a while. And in fact, she'll respect you more if you disagree with her at times. Here's how to make her lean in and get hooked. Use playful teasing. If she says she loves astrology, you can say something like, "Oh, great, let me guess. You're a Scorpio. So you're about to judge me?" You can tell intriguing stories. Exciting equals memorable. For example, that time you got lost in Italy, or that crazy adventure you had in Vegas. She's going to be listening and want to hear about it. Challenging her. So if she says she loves traveling, you can hit her up with, "Oh, really? So what's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?" The secret is you're creating an experience, not an interview. Tip 20, how to avoid interview mode and build chemistry instead. First dates can feel many times like job interviews if you're not careful. And the last thing you want to do is have a Q&A session where she feels like she's being interrogated by HR. Here are some of the biggest mistakes men make. Too many generic questions. Men ask things like, "So where did you go to school?" Blah, 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 blah. No emotion or energy. You're not reading the news. Get animated. Forgetting to flirt. If your conversation is too nice, you land in a dreaded friend zone. Here are 3 ways to build instant chemistry instead. First, use touch, sparingly. For example, a light touch on her arm when you're making a joke, or she's laughing and all of a sudden you just touch her hand. She has nice fingernails because she just got her manicure and you say, "Oh, those are cute nails," right? And so if you keep touching her a little bit and she touches you back, that's definitely one way to establish chemistry. Second is making her feel special. So you can say something like, "You're different from most girls I meet," and you'll see her light up. Third, have fun. If you're enjoying yourself, she will as well, and energy is contagious. Remember that the best dates don't feel like dates, they actually feel like an adventure. So if you make her laugh, you challenge her, and you create a connection, that's really all you need to get the second date. Chapter 5, texting like a boss, not a boomer. Tip 21, emojis. Use them wisely or risk looking like her uncle. Emojis can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Use them right, and you can add charm and playfulness to your texts. Use them wrong, and she'll start wondering if you also forward minion memes on Facebook. This is how most older men mess up emojis. Overuse. Like, guys, you don't have to send 10 laughing emojis after every text. You do that, and she'll start thinking you're either unhinged or you're her mom's best friend. Weird choices. An eggplant? Okay. Or some random winky face that's just out of nowhere. It's creepy. It's weird. Again, everything is just has to be connected to what the conversation is. And this is the last point. Wrong context. If you send a good morning text with a happy face, that's fine. But if you just got back from the colonoscopy and it's got a smirky face, that's kind of weird. Here's how you use emojis like a boss. First, don't use emojis. Second, stick to one emoji every third message. Third, use playful ones. They're really great for flirting. Fourth, match her energy. So if she never uses emojis, don't use emojis. But if she does use emojis, then you can start using emojis. But the biggest thing here is to not use so many emojis so you look like a 16-year-old girl. Just think of emojis as seasoning. A little enhances the experience, but too much ruins the dish. Tip 22, the one-word texts that instantly kill attraction. If you want to destroy attraction in one text, just send something like this. K, hey, cool, LOL, nice, okay. Congratulations. You're now as exciting as a tax form. Here's why the one-word text messages are a death sentence. They kill momentum. They make you seem uninterested, and you look socially clueless. So what should you text instead? Well, you can expand a little. She sends you a message, and you can respond by saying something like, nice, Italy is amazing. What was your favorite part? You can make it playful. Again, here's an example. Nice, but tell me, did you just take selfies and eat pizza the whole time? Third, you can add intrigue. You can say, nice, I've got a wild Italy story for you, but I need to know if you're okay with keeping secrets. So the goal is to keep her engaged, keep it fun, and keep the conversation going, not just one-word text replies. Tip 23, keep it playful. Don't write her a damn novel. Look, texting isn't an essay contest. If your texts are too long, you're doing it all wrong. This is what happens when you over-text. You look desperate. At the end of the day, women love mystery, and if you're sending paragraphs, there's no mystery in that. It kills attraction. If she opens her phone to a wall of texts, she's not thinking, wow, this guy is so thoughtful. Instead, she's thinking, I have to read all of this? Last, she's going to start ignoring you. It's just too much effort to read all these texts, and that means you're going to get ghosted. Here's how to keep texting short and fun. First, 1 to 3 sentences maximum. Anything longer, you might as well just save it for the date. Second, use humor and teasing. For example, you could say, I was going to tell you my top 3 favorite movies, but I feel like you're the type to judge my choices. Third, you need to leave room for curiosity. Instead of, I had a great weekend, went hiking, saw a concert, and then relaxed at home. Instead, you should say, did some hiking, live music, and had an interesting night. Guess what happened? So at the end of the day, texting is about sparking curiosity and emotion, not dumping your whole life story on her phone. Tip 24, why waiting to reply makes her want you more. If you want to make a woman more interested in you, then you need to stop replying like you're sitting at your phone waiting for her texts. Here's what happens on a psychological level to a woman's brain when you wait to reply. First, it makes you seem busy. High-value men don't sit around texting. They're busy making moves and making money. Second, it creates anticipation. The longer she waits, the more she starts to think about you. Third, it stops you from looking needy. If you reply in 2 seconds every single time, she'll assume you have nothing else going on. And guess what? High-value men don't do that. They're not replying in 2 seconds all the time. Now, here is how you use the reply delay like a pro. 1, wait at least as long as she does. So if she takes 30 minutes to get back to you, you take 30 minutes. 2, use unpredictability. Sometimes reply fast, sometimes take a little while, and keep her guessing. You can also mix it up with some voice memos. Women love to hear voice memos. But avoid FaceTime calls. Okay, the random FaceTime calls. Let her be the one to FaceTime you, but don't be the one FaceTiming her. Why? Because most of the time, women want to be prepared for that FaceTime call. They don't like just some random thing because maybe they haven't done their makeup. And last, don't play games too much. So if you leave her on read for 3 days, as an example, she'll just move on. Or if you're taking hours when she's used to a few minutes here and there, or like 30 minutes, then she'll also move on. You have to be somewhat consistent. At the end of the day with texting, you need to create the right balance of mystery without looking like a flaky weirdo. Tip 25, the ultimate flirty text that works 9 times out of 10. If you want a surefire text that builds attraction and makes her excited to reply, here it is. You text this: I have a confession, but I need to know if you can handle it first. That works literally 9 times out of 10. Just make sure you do have a confession. That's actually worthwhile. But guaranteed, every single woman will want to know, what the heck is this? What's he talking about? And why this works is because it builds curiosity, it creates emotional investment, and it lets you control the direction. Here's how to follow up when she says, so tell me. And you can follow up and say, I had a dream about you last night, but I didn't know if I should tell you what happened. Or you can reply and say, you're trouble, aren't you? I can just tell. Now, if she responds this way and says, well, what is it? Then you can respond and say, I think you're trying to get me to like you and it might be working. Or you can say, I can already tell you're going to be a bad influence on me. This text isn't just flirty, it sets the tone for attraction and fun by using these I have a confession text. Final takeaway here is text like a man, not a boomer. If you text like a boring, predictable guy, she'll lose interest fast. But if you keep things playful, intriguing, and a little mysterious, she'll be hooked on hearing back from you. So just as a recap, you want to use emojis sparingly. You never want to send one-word text. Keep it short and fun. Don't reply instantly every single time, and use flirty, engaging, teasing texts that build attraction. Mastering the texting game will set you apart from 99% of guys out there. Chapter 6, the hidden deal breakers: kids, pets, and priorities. Dating younger women comes with its own set of challenges, but nothing complicates a relationship faster than kids and pets. If you're an older guy who doesn't want more children, you're already at a disadvantage because most women under 35 want children. However, most women over 35 already have them. Then there's the pet factor, specifically dogs, and dogs that are treated like royalty. Before you get in too deep, let's break down the biggest challenges you'll face when dating a woman whose life revolves around her kids or her fur babies. Tip 26. She wants kids, you don't. Now what? If you're done having kids and she's in her prime childbearing years, you're on borrowed time. Most younger women dream of starting a family, and if it's not in your plan, you need to be upfront about it early and right away. Here are some of the signs she's expecting a future with kids, even if she says she doesn't want kids. First, she'll constantly talk about how cute babies are. Second, she will ask about your feelings on fatherhood. Third, she has a 5-year plan that mysteriously includes a family. And fourth, she will casually bring up freezing her eggs or because her biological clock is running. If you ignore these warning signs, you'll waste both of your time. And never assume that she'll change her mind for you because she won't. Tip 27. Dating a woman with kids. Your time will never be your own. So you think you're getting a fun, spontaneous younger woman? Well, not if she has kids. And here are the reasons why. Being spontaneous is dead. You will not be jetting off for last-minute vacations. Instead, it'll be babysitters, school schedules, custody arrangements with the ex, and sick days that'll control her calendar, not yours. You will always be second place. And as you should, kids come first. But if you're looking for an adventure partner, a single mom is not it. Her ex will be part of your life. If she co-parents, her ex is always in the picture. Maybe it's drama-free, maybe it's not, but he's part of the deal. And if she has multiple kids or young children, get ready for constant exhaustion, both hers and yours. Tip 28. When her dog comes before you, All right, it might seem harmless until it isn't. Dogs can become the third wheel in your relationship and you won't even see it coming. And here are some of the ways you won't see it coming. First, her dog sleeps in the bed. Oh, all right. If you're not cool with sharing the sheets with a 90-pound lab, then you better speak up now. Second, she cancels plans because of the dog. If she can't go away for the weekend because Bruno gets anxious, well, you're dating the wrong woman. Third, she refers to herself as the dog's mom. If the dog's birthday gets more attention than yours, that's a red flag. A dog should enhance a relationship, not dictate it. So if her dog always comes first, so will your frustration. Tip 29, the harsh reality. Some lifestyles don't mix. If she wants kids and you don't, you're wasting your time. If she has young kids and you want freedom, you'll resent her lifestyle. If she treats her dog like a human, you'll never be her top priority. Instead of forcing a bad fit, ask yourself, are her priorities aligned with yours? Do you actually want to step into her world? Or are you just attracted to her because she's young? It's better to walk away before you end up resenting the very things that define her life. Tip 30, the biggest mistake men make. The biggest mistake older men make when dating younger women is ignoring the deal breakers just because she's hot. If she wants a family and you don't, it'll never work. If her kids or pets are her entire life, be honest about whether that's what you want. If you're constantly frustrated by her priorities, you're dating the wrong woman. Attraction is easy, but compatibility is where it actually matters. So make sure you're chasing the right thing. Chapter 7, keeping her interested so she doesn't ghost you. Tip 31, why being a challenge is still the #1 attraction hack. Let me guess, you've spent decades being the nice guy who gives women whatever they want, whenever they want it, and thinking they'll love you for it. Or you thought happy wife, happy life was true. Well, I'm here to tell you all of that is wrong. If you're too easy, too available, and too predictable, she will lose interest in you faster than a TikTok video. Here's why women love a challenge. It keeps them engaged. Women love a little mystery, a little push, and a little pull. If she knows exactly what you'll do next, well, then boredom sets in fast. Scarcity equals value. If you're not always available, then you must be important. She wants to earn your attention. Handing it out like free samples at a Costco, that's not what she's looking for. Here's how to be a challenge without being a jerk. Don't always reply instantly. I spoke about this earlier. Give her some time to wonder what you're up to. Have your own plans. A man with a life is 10 times more attractive than one who's waiting by his phone. Flirt, but don't always seal the deal right away. Let the anticipation build, but don't be a pen pal. Set up that date within 24 to 48 hours from matching with her on a dating app or meeting her organically. The second you become too easy, too predictable, or too available, she will begin to check out and explore other options. Stay a little unpredictable and she'll chase you instead. Tip 32, the biggest turnoff older men fall into. Clinginess. Imagine you take her out on an amazing date. Things are going great. And then you text her 5 times in a row the next morning. Congratulations, you've just sent her running for the hills. Here is why clinginess kills attraction. It screams desperation. Remember, you have options, like why are you chasing? Women want a man, not a shadow. She has a life, and so should you. Needy behavior equals, well, this guy has no options. Here's how to avoid clinginess. Match her energy. If she takes hours to reply, then you should take hours to reply. Limit your check-ins. 1 text, maybe 2 texts during the day maximum. Because if she's interested, she'll respond and she'll text you back. Keep busy. If you're texting her all day, then you're not busy doing something else. And she's going to think, wow, doesn't this guy have a job? Doesn't he have a business to take care of? The key is to give her space to miss you. And if she never gets a chance to wonder where you are or what you're doing, she's going to get bored. Tip 33, when to compliment her and when to hold back. Too many compliments equals friend zone. But never complimenting her, that's just kind of weird. It's a bit of a balance. Here's when compliments work. First, when they feel earned. If she put effort into her looks, a well-timed, "Damn, you look amazing tonight," well, that hits the right spot. Second, when they're unexpected, a random, "You have the most contagious laugh," and that kind of text, or even on a date, that's golden. And third, when they're specific. "You're beautiful." That's kind of basic, right? Or something like, "Your eyes do this thing when you smile." Well, that is crazy sexy. Here's when to hold back on the compliments. 1, when you're overdoing it. If you tell her she's beautiful 12 times in one date, she's going to lose interest and it's not going to have the same meaning. 2, when it's too generic. "Oh, you're so hot." Okay, that's nice, but she's heard that a million times. 3, when it feels needy. If you're hoping that a compliment will make her like you, you're wrong. What's important is to give enough compliments to show interest, but not so many that she thinks you're desperate and have low self-esteem. Tip 34, how to stay unpredictable and exciting. If she can predict your every move, she's going to lose interest fast. The secret to keeping a younger woman hooked is to surprise her. Here are some tips on how to be unpredictable in a good way. Don't always text at the same time. It keeps her guessing. Change up your date spots. If every dinner date and drinks is at the same place, you're doing it wrong. Be spontaneous. You can send her a midday text and say, "I just saw this and thought of you," and attach the photo. Or you can send her a voice memo. Here's what not to do. Don't be flaky. Unpredictable is fun, but unreliable is not. You're trying too hard. You don't need to fake an extravagant lifestyle. Overcompensating with grand gestures, like a surprise trip to Paris. Like, she's not expecting a trip to Paris, so you don't need to do that to have her interested in you. The goal is to keep things exciting, not exhausting. Tip 35, why having your own life makes you 10 times more sexier. Do you know what's more attractive than money, abs, or expensive cologne? A man who's hustling and has got his own thing going on. Here's why that's so important. It signals high-value man. A man with purpose and passion is irresistible. It prevents you from being needy. If your world revolves around her, you become boring fast. It makes her want to be part of your life instead of just you chasing hers. This is how you build a life that attracts women. First, have hobbies that excite you. Music, travel, fitness, even nerdy and dangerous stuff. Just be passionate about something. Going to the gym is not a hobby, and neither is playing golf. 2, hang out with friends more often. A social man is an attractive man. And 3, set goals beyond dating. If women are your only focus, you're doing it wrong. The more fulfilled and independent you are, the more attractive you become. And just one last tip. Alphas prioritize themselves. Betas prioritize women. Final takeaways. How to keep her hooked without being desperate. Be a challenge. Avoid cleanness at all costs. Compliment her the right way. Stay unpredictable. And have your own life. Master these, and she won't just stay interested, she'll be chasing you. Chapter 8. Relationship Red Flags. When to walk away. Tip 36. If she does this early on, run. So you just started dating her, and everything seems great. Until she does that one thing that makes your gut scream, "Danger, Will Robinson!" But instead of listening, you push forward thinking, well, maybe she just had a bad day. Nope. That was your free trial of crazy. Cancel the subscription now. Here are some early red flags that mean run. Rules and boundaries. If she's into you, her rules and boundaries will go out the window. But if she starts putting down rules and boundaries, it's either a test to see how alpha you really are, or a test to see if you will check her bad behavior, or it's a sign she's lost interest. Love bombing. If she says, "I love you," or is planning your wedding after date number 2, she's either a hopeless romantic or a future stalker. She's still obsessed with her ex. All right, if she brings up Brad every 5 minutes, you're not her boyfriend, you're the therapist. Constant drama. If she's always got beef with someone, her boss, her ex, her barista, well, guess who's next? Anxiety and depression. Don't be with a woman who is on a lot of medication for anxiety and depression. This is her problem, not yours, and it's not worth the trouble. So how do you handle crazy? Well, you need to recognize crazy early. If she's raising her voice or throwing dishes over a small disagreement, do you really want to see how she handles a breakup? You also need to trust your instincts. If something feels off, it is. You also don't want to ignore the signs. If your friend or stranger says, "She's crazy," or "You can do better," maybe it's time to dump her. Look, if she's showing red flags early on, it's not going to get better. It's only going to get crazier. Tip 37. Is she actually into you or just using you? Here you are. You're taking her to steak dinners. You're buying her gifts. You're showing her the finer things in life. But is she actually into you? Or does she just like the free filet mignon and the spa days that you're treating her to? These are the signs that she's actually using you. Number 1, she only texts when she needs something. So if her messages look like, "Hey babe, can you send me 200?" Or, "Oh my God, my rent is due and my puppy is sick," you're not her boyfriend. To her, you're the ATM machine. Second, she never initiates plans. So imagine every date idea is coming from you, but she never makes an effort. She's just going along for the free ride. 3, there's no physical affection. So if she treats you like a coworker at an office party, she's not into you. 4, the one-word texts, and I spoke lots about that, but just as a quick recap, if all her text messages back are okay, good, she's not into you. And 5, "Can I get back to you?" Oh, this one has happened to me so many times where it's a week out, 2 weeks out, you're trying to plan a date, and her answer is, "Can I get back to you?" At the end of the day, every single person knows what they're doing next weekend. It's because she's waiting for a better option. So how do you handle this? Well, you can stop paying for everything and just watch how fast she disappears. 2, you could test her interest. You can cancel plans and see if she wants to reschedule. And if she doesn't, well, you were the meal plan, not the man. And 3rd, you can call out the behavior. If she's just in it for the perks, well, you probably should walk away before your wallet does. And here's a tip. No man ever lost a woman chasing money, but every man loses money chasing women. If she only sticks around when your credit card is swiping, she's not your girlfriend, she's your sugar baby. Tip 38, professions to avoid. The women you can't trust. When it comes to dating, a woman's profession can tell you a lot about the kind of lifestyle she lives, the people she's around by, and most importantly, her level of temptation and opportunity to stray. Certain professions come with built-in risk factors. These women are constantly around wealthy, high-status men, have erratic schedules, and often develop an independent mindset that doesn't exactly scream long-term loyalty. If you're looking for stability, faithfulness, and reliability, proceed with caution when dating women in these fields. Nurses. Ooh, the angels in public, but wild in private. Nurses may seem like a noble profession, and it is. But here's the reality. The hospital is one of the most sexually charged workplaces in existence. Nurses, they work long hours and they have stressful shifts. After hours, they party hard to blow off steam. They spend their days bonding with doctors, many of whom are high status and high earning men. The naughty nurse stereotype, and it exists for a reason. Nurses have a reputation for being adventurous, social, and open to a lot of experiences. On top of that, nurses are exposed to life and death situations daily, which can make them impulsive and thrill-seeking. Plus, they're prone to emotional roller coasters. Not exactly the best qualities for long-term commitment. Flight attendants, always on the move, always surrounded by men. Dating a flight attendant means you'll never truly know where she is, or who she's with, or what's happening during her trips. She's constantly traveling, staying in hotels, and meeting new people. Businessmen and first-class passengers shower them with attention, drinks, and proposals. There's a strong what happens in this city stays in this city culture in the airline industry. Long-distance relationships are already tough, but when her job naturally puts her in situations where fidelity is optional and temptations are endless, well then, good luck keeping her loyal. Last one on the list, real estate agents. Always around high-value men. Real estate is a game of attraction. Agents sell not just homes, but a lifestyle. That means looking the part, socializing with rich clients, and knowing how to build connections is their entire life. Many realtors dress to impress, and that includes catching the eyes of high net worth clients. They network at exclusive events, rubbing shoulders with investors, executives, and men who can afford luxury properties. Commissions are often tied to relationships, and some realtors know exactly how to use their looks to close a deal. So if you think you're the only man in her life, think again, because a real estate agent is constantly engaging with wealthy, powerful men who can offer her an upgrade. The bottom line, women in these professions are not automatically disloyal, but they are in high-risk environments for temptation. They're surrounded by powerful, rich men, and who wouldn't hesitate to take your place. So if you value your trust, stability, and predictability, then you might want to think twice about dating a woman whose career constantly puts her in these situations. Tip 39, piercings and tattoos, what they reveal about her. A woman's body modifications are more than just aesthetic choices. They're an insight into her personality, her past, and her belief systems. While a small tattoo or a subtle piercing might not seem like it's a red flag, certain styles scream rebellion, trauma, and extreme ideology. First, I want to talk about the septum, aka the bull ring. Is it a radical feminist or a wild card? The septum piercing has become a signature look for women who identify as bisexual or lesbian. While not every woman with this piercing is into women, most are. This piercing is common in the LGBTQ plus circles. Extreme feminists. If she's got a septum ring and is constantly talking about the patriarchy, oppression, dismantling gender roles, well then you can expect a power struggle in your relationship. Anti-traditional rebels. The bull ring is often a sign that she doesn't conform to traditional dating norms, which means she may not respect masculine leadership in your relationship. This piercing isn't just a style choice, it's a statement. And that statement is, I'm different, and I challenge traditional roles. So if that's not what you're looking for, then take note. Next up, tattoos. A window into her past and future trauma. Tattoos can be sexy, rebellious, or deeply personal, but they can also be a sign of past trauma, impulsiveness, and a chaotic mindset. Excessive tattoos. If her body is covered in ink, then she likely has a rebellious personality, and enjoys pushing boundaries. She has experienced trauma in her past, and many heavily tattooed women use ink as a form of self-expression or healing from that pain. Or she just might have poor impulse control. Many people get tattoos in the spur of the moment, but this doesn't exactly scream long-term planning or stability. Dark, violent, or chaotic tattoos. So you need to pay attention to the theme of her tattoos. So for example, are her tattoos a bunch of skulls, daggers, and dark imagery? Well, if they are, she might have an aggressive or reckless streak. Or the tattoos random, mismatched, and just no rhyme or reason for them. Well, she could be likely impulsive and just doesn't think things through. Or maybe the tattoos are of exes. Ooh, exes? The names of exes? You need to run. That's a huge red flag for emotional baggage. All right, but what about the visible neck, hand, or face tattoos? Well, these are not just ink, they're life choices. Women with visible tattoos in professional settings often have a take me as I am attitude, which can mean stubbornness and a lack of compromise in relationships. Or maybe these tattoos are a sign that she just doesn't care about fitting into traditional environments, which means she won't exactly fit into your vision of a relationship either. The final takeaway here about tattoos is a tattoo or piercing alone isn't a deal breaker, but when paired with all these other signs, it could be rebellion, impulsivity, or extreme ideology. And these things can reveal a deeper personality trait that may not align with what you're looking for. So if you're a man who values stability, traditional femininity, and long-term commitment, pay attention to these things. And they can save you a lot of wasted time and a lot of headaches. Tip 40, the crazy test. Every man should know. You need a foolproof way to detect if she's a lost cause or crazy early, before she starts keying your car or sending you 42 "where are you" texts. That's where the crazy test comes in. So here's how you test for crazy. 3 tips. First, cancel a plan last minute politely. If she has a full meltdown, that's a red flag. 2, say no to something she asks for. So if she reacts like a little child and that you just stole Christmas from her, then you need to run. 3, pay attention to how she treats service people. If she's sweet to you, but a nightmare to servers, her true colors are going to show. So quick story is I was on a date. This was probably date number 4. And my date was convinced that the bartender didn't put Don Julio Blanco in her margarita. And it became a situation where the bartender looked at her and said, "Look, there's cameras everywhere. I know exactly what I put in your margarita." It embarrassed the shit out of me. She wasn't so embarrassed, but she was upset about, and I'm thinking, bartenders make mistakes all the time. Who cares? But the fact that she made a scene of it was the last time I went out on a date with her. Here are some signs she's a lost cause. She's hot and cold. One day she's all over you, and the next she's too busy. Translation, she's keeping her options open. She never reciprocates. If you're the one giving 100% and she's barely giving you 10%, you're dating a ghost. She won't commit, but she also won't let you go. If she likes the attention but won't take things seriously, then she's just stringing you along. Here are the real signs that she's like next level crazy. She stalks your social media. If she's referencing old pictures and liking things from 2012, you should be afraid. Extreme mood swings. Oof, this has happened to me several times, where she loves you at noon, but then hates you by 3 o'clock. Next up, she threatens to hurt herself if you leave. Now, this is the biggest red flag ever. I've had some ex-girlfriends where I was breaking up with them, and they said that they were now suicidal. Well, that's a red flag. That's crazy. I know it's terrible that somebody would be in that situation, but you need to leave, okay? Look, your life is too short to deal with crazy. And if she fails the crazy test, save yourself and your sanity. So let's say she is crazy. Well, how do you handle it? This is what you do. 1, stop chasing. If she wants you, she'll make an effort. 2, match her energy. If she's distant, you be distant. And most importantly, 3, move on. The right woman won't leave you guessing, and the right woman is not going to be crazy. If she is crazy or she's not investing in you, then stop investing in her. A one-sided relationship is just a slow motion breakup anyways. Here are some final takeaways. The art of walking away. If she shows early red flags, believe her. If she's using you, cut her off. Silent red flags are still red flags. Stop investing in a woman who doesn't invest in you. Always, always do the crazy test. And if you master these things, you'll avoid the 99% of dating disasters. So now go forth and date smart. Chapter 9. How to make it work long term, if you want to. Tip 41. Setting expectations without sounding controlling. All right, my friend, you've successfully landed a younger woman. Congratulations. But now comes the real challenge. How do you make it work without turning into a grumpy old man yelling, "Back in my day"? You need to set expectations without sounding like a dictator from the 80s. Here's how not to set expectations. The command approach. You don't want to say something like, "Listen, if we're going to be together, then I expect you to do X, Y, Z." That's an instant red flag, and she's not your employee. Or the passive approach. Like, "Oh yeah, whatever you want." Translation, "I have no backbone." Look, if you're a pushover, she's going to lose interest fast. Or the "I'm the man" speech, by saying something like, "You need to follow my lead, young lady." Brother, this is not the 1950s. However, here's how to set expectations like a pro. First, be clear about what you want. You can say something like, "I like quality time together, but I also need my space for my own stuff." You see what I mean? This approach, you're not controlling, you're just honest. Second, you can ask what she expects. It's not just about you, so find out what she wants as well. Third, be firm but fair. If she crosses a boundary, address it, and without acting like her dad. The bottom line is boundaries are good. Control is bad. Find the balance, or you'll be single faster than she can say this isn't working. Tip 42. Age gap challenges. How to handle judgment from others. Cool, you're dating a younger woman. Now prepare for the judgmental stares, whispered comments, and occasional "she could be your daughter" remarks. Also be prepared to have older women hate on you for this. Here's the thing though, older women are only hating because they're jealous and can't compete with the younger women. At the end of the day, younger women are in their prime and older women are not. The 3 main critics you're going to come across are 1, the Karens of the world. "Oh, he's having a midlife crisis," or "she could be his daughter." No, none of that. You're just enjoying life, and who cares what they think? 2, jealous dudes your age. "Well, she's only with him for his money," says the guy who hasn't had a date since the Clinton administration. Or 3, skeptical friends. They'll say something like, "What could they possibly have in common?" Well, you know what? You could have a lot in common, especially since you actually read books and don't spend your whole day on TikTok. Here's how to handle the hate. Well, you can ignore the noise. People will judge you no matter what. If you're both happy, who cares? You can own it with confidence. If someone asks, "Aren't you too old for her?" just laugh and say, "I guess I age well." Surround yourself with supportive people. Anyone who constantly questions your relationship doesn't deserve your energy anyways. Here's the truth. The only opinions that matter are yours and hers. Everyone else can mind their own damn business. Tip 43, meeting her friends, how to win them over. Meeting her friends is like facing a firing squad with smiles. They're her personal security team, and for right reason. They're ready to interrogate you, analyze, and judge you. Your job? Well, your job is to win them over without looking and acting like an old fart. Here's some of the common mistakes older guys make in this situation. First, they try to be cool like them. If you say, "Bruh, that's lit," they're immediately going to vote you off the island. Second, you're acting like a sugar daddy. If you start flexing money, they'll assume you're buying her love anyways. And third, if you dismiss them as just kids. If you act like they're beneath you, they'll make sure she dumps you. But now you're probably thinking, Silver Bachelor, well, how do we get them on my side? Well, this is how you do it. Be friendly, but not desperate. Treat them like equals and not your judges. Show them you genuinely like her. If they see she's happy, they'll approve. Find common ground. You can have conversations around music, travel, TV shows. There's all kinds of things you can connect on. And once her friends like you, your life will get 10 times easier, so play it smart. Tip 44, why keeping your masculine frame is key to lasting attraction. Let's be real. Many older guys lose their masculine frame in relationships. They start out confident, independent, and in control. Then fast forward 6 months, they're texting, "Where are you?" Or they can't make decisions when it comes to dinner plans or activities, where the wife or the girlfriend says, "What would you like to eat tonight, honey?" And his response is, "I don't know. What do you want to do?" Or she says, "What do you want to do this weekend?" And he says, "Well, I don't know. What do you want to do?" So that's what I mean about now you've lost that masculine frame. Instead of just giving her an answer, you're now asking her approval. So what happens when you lose your masculine frame? Well, this is what happens. She loses attraction. No woman, young or old, wants a man who crumbles at the first sign of trouble and can't make decisions. You become needy. The moment you start seeking approval or acting insecure, she'll start pulling away. And last, she'll start leading the relationship. And this is what happened in my marriage. I was married for 20 years, fell into this trap, and all of a sudden, I wasn't making the decisions that she was hoping I would make in certain situations. And then what happens to many men is the woman starts planning the dates and starts making the decisions on food and movies and everything else, and it never ends well. So how do you keep your masculine frame? Well, you can keep your masculine frame by keeping your own life. You should have your own hobbies, goals, friends, and maintain them always. Don't overreact. If she tests you, and she will, just stay cool. And last, make decisions like a man. If she asks, "Where should we eat?" Don't say, "Wherever you want." "I don't know. What do you feel like?" You just pick a damn place. If you keep your masculine frame, she'll respect and desire you more. Tip 45, the secret to being the exception, not the stereotype. Most older men dating younger women fall into one of two categories. The clueless grandpa. Well, he dresses like he's still in the 90s, acts old, and gets dumped fast. Or the sugar daddy. He thinks money alone will keep her around, and spoiler, it doesn't. So you need to be the exception. And you're probably wondering, all right, Silver Bachelor, this is all great. How do I be the exception? Here's how you be the exception. First, have more to offer than just money. If your entire personality is paying for stuff, she'll find a better offer. 2, stay fit, stylish, and interesting. No, you don't need a six-pack like I've mentioned before, but you need to get to the gym and you need to ditch the dad jeans and take care of yourself. 3, keep her intrigued. If she always knows what you're going to say or do, she'll get bored. Surprise her, challenge her, keep things fresh. The men who make it work long-term aren't desperate or boring. They're charismatic, confident, and fun. So be that guy, and you'll be the exception, not the stereotype. Final takeaways, the keys to making it work. Set expectations early, but don't be controlling. Ignore judgment from others. win over her friends, keep your frame, and be the exception, not the stereotype. Master these, and your relationship will last longer than most guys ever manage. Now go out there and show the world how it's done. Chapter 10, The Exit Strategy. What to do if it ends. Tip 46, why you should never beg her to stay. Let's get one thing straight. Begging is for dogs. You might be tempted to say, please, baby, don't go. But trust me, this never ends well. Here are the 3 reactions men have when she leaves. First, the pleader. Oh, please, I'll change. Just tell me what you want. I'll go to therapy. Translation, I'm weak as fuck and will let you walk all over me. 2, the bitter dude. You're just a gold digger anyways. Well, instant karma. She's going to move on happily while you end up alone with a whiskey bottle. Or 3, the smooth operator. Your response is, okay, if this is what you want, I respect that, and I hope you find what you're looking for. And this guy, he wins always. Here is why begging makes things worse. It kills attraction completely. If she was 50-50 about leaving, well, now she's 100% sure. It makes you look desperate, and desperation is about as sexy as wearing socks with sandals. It gives her all the power. You just handed her the keys to your low self-esteem. Now, good luck. This is how you handle it like a boss. Stay calm. No drama, no pleading, just a simple, I understand. Walk away with dignity. You're not a dog, and you weren't born to beg. Level up. A breakup is just an excuse to upgrade. So if she wants to leave, let her. Someone better is waiting, trust me. Tip 47, the graceful breakup and how to stay high value. Most breakups go one of 2 ways, a dumpster fire of emotions or a cool, controlled exit. Be the guy who takes the high road, not the guy who is setting his ex's car on fire. Here's how not to break up. The over-emotional meltdown. You don't want to say something like, you'll regret this. I was the best thing that ever happened to you. Like, really? Do you really think she cares? Or the revenge man. I'm going to make her jealous and ruin her life. Well, buddy, you have better things to do. Or last, the passive-aggressive text war. I hope you have a nice life, not that you deserve it. If you really want things to end, this is how you do it like a high-value man. Be cool, collective, and clear. I respect your decision, and I wish you the best. Boom. That's it. It's over. That's power. No name-calling, no bitterness. Act like a man, not like a teenager. Cut off all contact if needed. No late-night texts, no stalking her Instagram. Move forward, not backward. Handle the breakup with grace, confidence, and self-respect. You'll be better off anyways, and she might even second-guess leaving. Tip 48, how to bounce back fast and attract someone even better. Breakups suck, but here's the good news. Every time you go through one, you have a chance to come back stronger, sharper, and more desirable than ever. Step 1, get your mind right. You didn't lose, she did. Any woman walking away from a high-value man is making a mistake. No self-pity. The world doesn't care how you feel, so move on. Next. Focus on abundance, not loss. There are billions of women out there. One just opened up a spot in your life. Step 2, upgrade yourself. Hit the gym. You can look amazing within 12 months. Level up your style. Nothing makes an ex question her choices like seeing you look better. Pursue new experiences. A breakup is the perfect time to travel, learn, and grow. Step 3, get back in the game. No rebounds out of desperation. Get back out there when you're ready, not when you're lonely. Set higher standards. You just upgraded, so your next relationship should be an upgrade too. Remember, the best revenge is living well. Your future is brighter than ever, so let's go. Tip 49. the best way to avoid divorce 2.0. If you've been divorced and you don't want to repeat history with divorce number 2, then the goal is to date smarter this time. So how do you avoid a second disaster? Well, don't get married. You paid the price the first time. Why the hell would you want to pay that price again? Unless you need a green card. Don't ignore red flags. If she's crazy, don't pretend she'll get any better. Don't rush into commitment. Lust fades. Make sure there's more to it. Don't lose your independence. The second you stop being your own man, the attraction fades. Here's what you should look for instead. Emotional stability. No crazy, but she's hot kind of stuff. Shared values. If she wants kids and you don't, then you shouldn't ignore that. Mutual respect. A healthy relationship isn't built on control or drama. So choose wisely and you'll never have to go through a second divorce. Tip 50. The ultimate mindset shift. Women are abundant, not scarce. If you take one thing away from this book, let it be this. There will always be more women. Here's why this mindset changes everything. Scarcity equals desperation. If you think she's your only option, you'll make weak choices. Abundance equals power. When you know you have options, you date from a place of strength. Confidence is attractive. When you're not worried about losing her, she'll want you more. This is how you think abundantly. Keep your standards high. Don't settle ever. Keep improving yourself. Better you equals better options. Never chase. The second you stop acting desperate, your dating life will change. The men who truly believe women are abundant will attract the best ones every time. Final takeaways. How to exit like a king. Never beg. Walk away with dignity. Break up gracefully. No drama, no bitterness. Bounce back fast. Self-improvement is key. Avoid divorce 2.0 by choosing better and not marrying. Adopt an abundance mindset. There's always someone better. A breakup isn't the end. It's a new beginning. Now go out there and level up. Conclusion. Your new dating life starts now. The number one takeaway from this book. All right, champ. You've made it through the ultimate playbook for dating young women, which means you're already miles ahead of the competition. But before you ride off into the sunset with a 25-year-old model, let's get to the single biggest takeaway from this entire book. Drum roll. All right. The number one rule to succeed in dating younger women, or any woman really, is this. Become the best version of yourself. That's it. That's the secret. It's not about tricks, hacks, or wearing tight shirts to show off that gym membership you barely use anyways. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, a man who naturally attracts younger women because he brings value both to himself and to her. So why does this change everything? It changes everything because confidence becomes effortless. You know you're a catch. You will also stop chasing and start attracting. Women notice when you're in control of your life. Your options will multiply. You're no longer desperate for any woman. You're selective and you have high self-esteem. Too many older guys think they need a magic pickup line, a big bank account, or a celebrity physique to date younger women. Well, all that is wrong. You just need to be the kind of man she wants to be around. If you focus on improving yourself, your confidence, style, fitness, and mindset, everything else will fall into place. How to stay in the game and keep improving. Dating younger women isn't a one and done thing. It's not like learning how to ride a bike where once you've got it, you're set for the rest of your life. No. This is a game where you have to keep sharp and keep improving. So here are 3 golden rules of staying in the game. First, keep leveling up. Women are drawn to ambition. Always be improving your career, your fitness, your style, your social skills. 2, stay social. If you stop going out, stop meeting people, and spending your free time playing video games, your dating life will die. 3, never get lazy. The moment you get too comfortable and stop putting in the effort, she will start looking elsewhere. Here's some quick tips on how to keep getting better. Fitness. You don't need to have a six-pack, just like I mentioned before, but you do need to look strong. Watch your calories and get your testosterone checked. Why get your testosterone checked? Because men after the age of 35 lose 1% of their testosterone each year. Style. Trends change, I get it, but you need to stay sharp, look sharp, and not be stuck in 1997. Mindset. Always learn. Read books, listen to audiobooks, stay curious, and keep your edge. Social skills. Practice flirting. Learn about charisma and how to storytell. The men who stay in the game, they never let themselves go stale. They remain sharp, and it'll help you have more options. Final words of wisdom from your dating coach, the Silver Bachelor. You didn't come this far to just be that old guy sitting at the bar who doesn't get it. You now have the ultimate playbook. You know what works, what doesn't, and how to avoid embarrassing yourself. But before you ride off into the sunset with your new young girlfriend, let me leave you with some final words of wisdom. 1, you're the prize. Stop acting like you have to win her over. She should be the one trying to prove herself to you. 2, stay playful, stay confident. Younger women don't want a boring, stuck-in-his-ways old dude. They want a man who brings fun, excitement, and stability without acting needy. 3, don't fear rejection. Not every woman will be into you. So what? The men who succeed in dating don't take it personal and they move on. 4, keep your standards high. Don't date just any younger woman. Date one who actually brings value to your life. Looks will fade anyways, but a great personality, loyalty, and shared values are what matter. 5, always have an abundance mindset. There will always be more women. Never cling to one out of fear of being alone. Confidence comes from knowing you have options. Your new dating life starts now. No more excuses. No more, I'm too old for this, or I'm not good enough. You are more than good enough if you own it. No more self-doubt. You have the tools. You have the mindset. Now go out and use them. No more waiting. Life doesn't wait for anyone. The best time to start is right now. Go out there, attract, date, and enjoy. Most importantly, have fun.